everyone, this is Sid here and welcome back to another video. Basically, today I'm going to be sharing my ARC 4 OCs and some of their lore and all of that great stuff. So if that sounds fun and interesting to you, then please make sure to stay tuned and stick around. And without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So basically, I posted a lore video earlier today, actually, at the time of me filming this video. And I made a poll also stating, like, would y'all guys like me to post another lore video or would y'all guys like something else? But y'all said more lore, so I'll be posting more lore. Which is honestly great because I love posting lore videos. And you'll probably tell by, like, the sound of my voice. I am so passionate talking about, like, my OCs and my stories and stuff. So I personally love it and have no problem just posting lore videos, but I don't know, like, if that's gonna be good for my channel, how many views that's gonna get and all. But anyways, if y'all are a die-hard fan of the channel and y'all have watched lots of my previous videos, you probably know about my 3 videos for ARC 1 and my 2 videos for ARC 2, but you might be wondering to yourself, Sid, what the heck happened to ARC 3? Because, like, how can we be going from ARC 2 to ARC 4 suddenly without stopping at ARC 3 in the middle, you know? Well, to answer that question, basically, if you know anything about Ray's story is set up very similarly to mine, where she has different arcs, obviously, that take place in, like, chronological order, but they aren't really connected as intrinsically to each other, because they all take place within the same universe, but they're all happening at, like, different times and with different characters. So it's a similar thing for my story, where, like, arcs 1, 2, and 3 all revolve around Destiny and her friends, but the other arcs are with, like, different characters, so it doesn't really matter as much. We're just gonna be, like, sort of skipping ahead a tiny bit, but we'll return to ARC 3 later, I promise. I'm just super duper scared to tackle it because there's, like, 10 main characters and, like, at least 30 side characters, and I haven't drawn, like, any of them yet, so it's low-key frightening. But I have drawn these guys and I'm ready to show them to y'all and share their stories with the world. So yeah. But anyways, before this video gets too long, I know my last video was like 30 minutes or something terribly insane. Let's start off with this character we got on screen right now, and he is Pietari! Let's go. My beautiful little boy. His name is actually pronounced Pietari. I think it's a Finnish word because we were watching a movie in our human geography class and it took place in Finland and there was a boy named Pietari, and I thought to myself, wow, that is a really cool name. And there's also symbolic reasons for why his name is Pietari. I'll get to those later, but basically, Pietari is just the Finnish version of the name Peter. So there's a little bit of context right there, but for the sake of this video and for y'all guys in the audience struggling to pronounce the name Pietari, we'll just be calling him Pietari. But Pietari is basically our average Joe, typical fantasy farm boy. I know, like, every single fantasy story ever starts out with, like, a farm boy who figures out that he's magical and goes on the quest, but I wanted to write that story as well, so this is my own original take on it. Basically, Pietari, like many boys on farms too, has lots of siblings because, you know, in the old days, people on farms had to have lots of children so that their children could help out on the farm and all of that great stuff. But Pietari is the oldest of his siblings, so he is around, like, 17 or 18 years old, and all of his siblings are younger than him. I feel like a lot of the characters that I write are older siblings, if they have any siblings, because I am the oldest sibling. I have one younger brother, and he is, like, 3 years younger than me. So I have the most experience with that, you know, like, I can pull from my own experiences and write an oldest sibling character well, because I have that, like, realistic background of being an oldest sibling myself. So yeah, but Pietari has one younger sister who is, like, 1 year younger than him, and he has 2 twins who are, like, 4 years younger than him, and he has one really little brother who's, like, 6 or 7 years younger than him. So yeah, he has 4 siblings in total. But since he is the oldest of the batch, naturally, Pietari is very mature and responsible, and he's sort of like a leader among his siblings, you know? And yeah, each of his siblings do like a different type of work around the house. So his youngest sibling looks after the animals and like make sure to give them food and stuff and like replenish their water and all of that great stuff. The twins both go into like the chicken coop each day and just like look for eggs and stuff like that. And his sister, who's second oldest only to him, is responsible for like cooking and like managing the household and stuff. But Pietari, basically his job is to like do all the field work and stuff. So he does like the manual labor, like plowing the fields and like planting the seeds and all of that great stuff. But Pietari is sort of like the man of his household in a way, because his father passed away when he and his younger sister were only 2 years old. So that was very, very traumatic and traumatizing for him. But honestly, he can't even really remember it because he was so young. Like my oldest memory, I think, was when I was 2 years old, and it was my second birthday. I remember specifically because it was like a Wonder Pets themed birthday party, and we got everyone like different red, blue, and green Wonder Pets capes, and it was so hilarious. But like other than that, I can barely remember anything from when I was like 2, 3, 4 years old, you know? So even though like it is a devastating loss, he doesn't really feel it that deeply because like he can't even truly remember who his father was as a person, you know? So yeah, but Pietari is a mama's boy. He's like very, very grateful for his mother because, you know, as a single mom, his mother works incredibly hard to take care of the rest of his family and to make sure that they have everything that they need and all of that great stuff. So yeah, but basically, as for the actual story of Arc 4, the literal first chapter, Pietari wakes up and realizes that his mother is gone. Because if you were a fellow writer, you know you have to get into the action right as soon as the story starts, because you cannot risk losing your reader on the first page. You have to get them hooked as soon as possible. So he wakes up and he's like, where the heck is my mom? Because, you know, usually she's there on the farm doing stuff with them. And he goes on a search to look for his mom, and by the time that the second chapter rolls around, he realizes that his mom has been murdered by werewolves, because in their little farming village, there is like a gang of werewolves that just like roams around through the woods and like terrorizes people. So his mom has been killed by werewolves, and this guy finds her body and brings it back to the village and is like weeping and sobbing. And Pietari looks over at this guy and he's like, you have no connection to my mom. Why are you so concerned about her? And Pietari then realizes that the reason why this man was acting so emotional towards his mom and was like mourning her loss is because he was actually having a romantic affair with Pietari's mom, which is like so hilarious. But honestly, it's supposed to be a plot twist, you know? It's supposed to be like incredibly shocking and like groundbreaking and like completely topples his life and turns everything he knows upside down. But when you really truly think about it, you can like deduct from logical reasoning that this had to have happened, you know? Because as I said earlier, Pietari lost his father when he was 2 years old, and he has siblings who are 4 and 6 years younger than him, so like just logically that can't possibly work, you know? So yeah, but anyways, Pietari realizes that his mom was having this romantic affair with this man, and he's like, what the actual heck? Because this is completely out of character for his mom, you know? Like, he and his mom have a very good relationship, and they like trust each other very deeply, and he feels like his mom would never hold such a big secret like against him, you know? So he's determined to figure out like why the heck was this the case, you know? Obviously he can't ask his mom because now his mom is dead, but he knows that there must be some other way. So basically, he overhears some townspeople talking, and they're talking about this stone up in the mountains, and if you go to this stone, you can ask it any question you want, and it will give you the answer. So Pietari obviously is thinking to himself, well, if I go to the stone and they ask it like, why was my mother lying to me about this, then the stone will be able to answer and I'll be able to figure out, you know? So that's what Pietari plans to do. Then Pietari also hears them talking about the werewolf problem, because not only has Pietari's mom been a casualty of the werewolves, but the werewolves have murdered countless other people as well. And the townspeople are like, well, maybe we should send someone up to the mountain, up to the stone, stone to go ask the stone, like, well, how do we deal with the werewolves, you know? So Pietari realizes, like, this is his moment to shine. He's like, I'll go up to the stone and ask it about the werewolves. But more importantly, he wants to ask it about his mom and why she was lying to him. But, like, no one has to know that, you know? So it's sort of like this mission. He has, like, double motives for doing this. And yeah. But anyways, that's basically the main plot of the first book, is that Pietari is going on this quest up to the mountains to find the stone and ask it these questions, and these 4 other people from his village also join along with him, those people being Xavier, Deidra, Hazel, and Gwaylin. Xavier and Deidra we're gonna draw later on in the video, and Hazel and Gwaylin we're gonna draw in the next video, but each person obviously is going to ask about the werewolves, but they all have their own, like, individual question that they want to ask as well. So obviously, like, Pietari wants to ask, why did my mom lie to me? And these other people have their own little hidden secrets and questions that they want to ask the stone. So it's very interesting, like, lots of juicy drama. But yeah, anyways, that's enough of, like, the story and the lore to be starting off with. Let's talk a bit more about our beautiful boy's design, because I really do like Pietari's character design. I think it did a pretty good job, low-key. Not to be, like, too arrogant or haughty, but I think it looks really nice. Basically, Pietari has some darker, like, Mediterranean toned skin, so sort of like an olive color, and he has this nice golden brown hair, so I think it looks really, really cute. He has these nice olive green eyes as well. I can't draw Hazel. I don't know why. It's just, like, Hazel eyes do not work in my art style, so I either draw green or brown, usually. And if I imagine a character with hazel eyes, I usually give them this color eye. So, like, Leona has hazel eyes, but she has this color eye as well, because, like, this is the closest I can get to Hazel, you know? So, like, I know his eyes are green in this picture, just imagine them as hazel, you know? Hazel being, like, a mixture of green and brown. But yeah, I like his outfit as well, though. Like, I gave him a nice blouse, but I tried to make it interesting by adding some, like, little green ivy patterns around the edges of the sleeves and the top of the collar, and gave him some, like, buttons going down the side and all that great stuff. I also gave him some nice blue jeans and sort of like a jean jacket, but with a nice embroidered pattern of, like, some carrots and all of that great stuff to make it look extra farm boy-esque and really, really cute. Also gave him, obviously, some, like, bows and a little belt going around his waist and nice big boots for working out in the field. I also gave him a nice hat, because all fantasy medieval farm boys have to have a hat, of course. So I gave him this straw hat with this nice brown belt alongside it with these silver studs, and it also has a nice sunflower on it as well. The sunflower is symbolic once again, but you'll learn more about that later, hopefully, if I do more videos on my OCs in the future. But yeah, there's lots of symbolism on his design. I think he looks really, really cute and adorable. But that's pretty much it for our main boy, Pietari. Now we're gonna be moving on to our next character. He's sort of like a secondary character, because, like, he doesn't have a point of view like Pietari does. He does get a point of view later on, but it does, like, alternate between, and usually Pietari has most of the story because it is, like, his story, you know? But this character right here, his name is Xavier, and Xavier is, like, such a cutie. I love him so, so much, and I think Ray likes him too, because Ray's, like, read the whole entire, like, synopsis of the story, like, in full depth, so she knows. Xavier is, like, he's probably my favorite character, because he is just, like, the best. Once I publish this and you can read it for yourself, you will realize how great Xavier is. But I'm telling you right now, this boy is golden. But anyways, as I mentioned earlier, Pietari is the first one to sort of, like, brainstorm the idea of going up and asking the stone about the werewolves. But he asks other people to join his quest, because obviously going on a solo mission up to the mountains is not a good idea in the slightest. Especially when there's all kinds of monsters roaming around in the woods, you know? So he has to get people to go up with him. So one of the people that he gets to go up with him is Xavier right here. And Xavier tells Pietari that he is a scholar studying monstrology, basically, like, the science study of monsters and the monster culture and all of that great stuff. So Xavier is pretending to be this scholar of monstrology, which, I mean, makes perfect sense because he knows a lot about monsters and how they behave and stuff, and like their psychology and sociology and all of that great stuff. And he's just a very smart person, like in general. He has like really good instincts. And even though he isn't like book smart, like he can't read or write at all, I don't think, but he has just like lots of general knowledge about like how life works, I guess, and it makes him seem like he's very smart. It gives him like an aura of intellect, if you know what I mean. But Xavier actually has a secret, a rather deadly secret, and this is that Xavier is a werewolf himself! So they're actually going up to the mountain to figure out how to kill the werewolves, or like get rid of the werewolves. But Xavier is a werewolf going on this mission to like prevent them from achieving their goal, you know? So basically the werewolves were like, hey, these humans are trying to kill us. We need to send a spy up there to make sure that they don't succeed. So Xavier is the spy that they sent, but their attempts were low-key kind of unsuccessful because Xavier becomes such good friends with the questing group that he's like, well, I can't betray these people, you know? So he ends up betraying his actual werewolf friends for his human friends. So that's pretty interesting. But it's Xavier's little character arc, you know? Very, very sweet. But he goes from being like this person who's like spying on them, you know, to being like their actual genuine friend and wanting to help them. Really, the story is more nuanced. There's more to the werewolves than them just being like bloodthirsty beasts who want to kill everyone. There's this whole conflict with like, they don't live in the place that they're supposed to live. Like, they've been sort of displaced, so they're trying to get back to their homeland, but they can't because the people in their homeland are like keeping them out with military force and stuff. So they're trying to get over there, but they have to like bargain and stuff, and it's a bad situation because they are slowly dying off from like disease and stuff. There's a moonstone in their natural territory that like provides them with like health and safety, but the further away they live from this moonstone, the sicker and sicker they get, and they've been away from it for so long now that like they're just starting to become very, very sick and just like dying off gradually, you know? But they really, really want to get back to this moonstone, and that is why they're like resorting to like killing people and stuff, because like they're so desperate to like return that they're literally like on the edge of their rope, you know? So yeah, but they aren't actually bad people. They just have to do bad things because they're so desperate, you know? But as for Xavier's like actual design right here, I always get like not nervous or like flustered, but I guess just like embarrassed. I don't know, drawing werewolf characters or like bad characters in general on my channel, because like all bad characters look the same in my story, which I know is cringe, but like all of the bad characters are werewolves, and all of the werewolves look the same. They all have pale skin, they all have dark hair, and they all have one like silver streak somewhere in their hair. So literally all werewolves look like this. But this is Xavier, as I said earlier, pale skin, black hair, silver streak. That's pretty much all you need to know about his like physical appearance. Werewolves in my story do always have certain features that you can see like from the outside that show that they are a werewolf even before they transform into their wolf form. Like they have this muzzle, like how you can see he has his little muzzle on his nose, and he has a black nose instead of like a normal type human nose, you know? And he has his ears which stick up out of his head. I'm realizing now, looking at this picture, that I accidentally gave him double ears. Please just ignore that, guys. Like, I was not thinking about that at the time that I was drawing this, but if this were an actual picture of like how he actually looks from the story, he would not have like the actual human ears, he would just have the wolf ears. But yeah, you can also see a tiny little bit of his tail sticking out from behind his pants. In the actual story, Xavier does a really good job like trying to hide the fact that he is a werewolf, so he sticks his ears, which once again are the ones on top of his head and not the human ears that I accidentally drew. Like he tucks them underneath his hair so that you can't really see them, because obviously if someone saw like he had wolf ears, they'd be like, bro, what's going on? So he does hide his ears underneath his hair, and then he does usually tuck his tail into his pants, and then he also like covers his nose with like makeup and stuff to make it look more like a human nose. And yeah, as for his actual like clothing and outfit, I decided to basically give him just like this sort of base scholar outfit, you know, since he is trying to pretend to be like a scholar in order to go on this quest. So he has on like this nice creamy colored blouse, you know, and he has this sort of like suit on over it. So he has this like nice vest right here. It's sort of like a dark brown mixed with like a gold color and has like gold stripes along the sides and stuff. Looks very, very dapper and fancy. Honestly, kind of expensive, but the werewolves do murder people. They do steal their money as well. So they're able to like go into the town and buy stuff. And yeah, but he has nice pants as well that are sort of similar in style to that. They have a nice little pattern on them, sort of like a little floral pattern. Sort of subtle so you can't really see it, but nice like that. He has these shoes, I like to call them pilgrim shoes because I feel like pilgrims usually wear these shoes. And pilgrim socks as well, just like high socks going up above his knees. But he looks really, really cute wearing this. He has these nice black belts with silver buckles and stuff. If you know anything about actual werewolf mythology and like how werewolves work, silver is supposed to be deadly to werewolves, but in my story, it's actually the opposite. So silver actually helps like enhance werewolf powers, and gold is actually deadly to werewolves because I personally associate silver with the moon and gold with the sun, and I imagine that gold would be like bad for werewolves, and that since werewolves are so like intrinsically tied to the moon, and since in my story silver is tied to the moon, silver would be good for werewolves, you know? So a lot of werewolves wear like silver jewelry and stuff to enhance their powers. And I was honestly going to give him a silver bracelet, and he does wear a silver bracelet in the actual story. But there just like wasn't enough room on either of his hands to put a silver bracelet, but like just imagine that he has a silver bracelet there. I'm really making you do a lot of imagining today, aren't I? I'm making you imagine that his ears are not there, and I'm making you imagine that he has a silver bracelet. But yeah, anyways, since all of the gold on his outfit would be deadly to him, all of the gold on his outfit, like the golden buttons and the golden pocket watch that I tried to draw, is fake gold. And yeah, he has these really nice, like, I don't know how you would describe this color. I feel like it's sort of like champagne colored eyes, you know? I feel like that's a really weird description, but I don't know like what this color is called, but that's what color his eyes are. And he has a nice little paw print birthmark on his cheek. And yeah, but that's pretty much it for Xavier, my little bestest boy. I love him so very much. He's just a cutie and absolutely adorable. I can't. I have a soft spot for all guys like this. I don't know why. It's just like pale skin and dark hair is my absolute vibe, and I always dig it every single time. And yeah, but the last character that we're going to be moving on to and drawing today is Deidra. And Deidra right here is this slay cute little girly. Deidra basically, she is an only child, unlike Xavier and Pietari. I forgot to mention it, but Xavier does have two siblings. One of them will be drawing in the next video, but he is the middle child, unlike Pietari, who is the oldest child. But Deidra has no siblings, but Deidra has her father, you know, and she has a very, very bad relationship with her father because her father is like in the army, so he's obviously like very, very strong. He's like one of the highest ranking military officers in the whole entire kingdom. But Deidra's father is like incredibly abusive towards her. So he always has been like hitting her and hurting her ever since she was a child. If she ever did anything wrong, he would be sure to punish her for it. And it's really, really interesting because like different people react different ways to certain things. So like some people might be abused by their father and then decide to become like very, very submissive and like try their absolute best to like please him, you know? But Deidra actually went in like the complete opposite direction. So being abused by her father made her incredibly like defiant. So she is literally trying her best to like get revenge on him in every way possible, you know? So one day when Deidra decides that she has finally had enough with her father's bullcrap, she decides to go run off, like literally just sprinting like all the way to the closest military base, which is actually not the one that her father works at, because her father works in the capital because he is like high ranked enough to get a capital position. But she goes to this closest military base and she's like, if my father is going to be hurtful towards me, I need to know how to defend myself. So she starts like training and working hard and putting in lots of effort to become like as strong and capable as she possibly can, you know, so that if her father or anyone else for that matter ever tries to hurt her ever again, she can be able to like put up a fight and like defend herself, you know? So Deidra is very much like that strong female character. I love that archetype so much. I know like it's overdone as heck, but I will never get tired of it, you know? The bad thing is when you have a strong female character who like never makes any mistakes or like never does anything wrong, because then they're like not only a strong female character but also like a Mary Sue, and Mary Sues are just like bad in general, you know? So yeah, but Deidra actually makes lots of friends at her military base, and she becomes a really well respected fighter, and she is like doing very well. So I'm honestly really happy and proud of her for like turning her life around in that sort of way. And yeah, but basically one day Deidra and a few of her friends get sent on a mission down towards one of the more southern villages, which is the village that Pietari and Xavier both live in. And she goes down over there, and she sees that Pietari is actually calling for other people to go and join him on his mission up to the mountains to go find the stone and ask it about the werewolves. So Deidra is like, sure, I'll go, why not, you know? Because she thinks, well, this guy is going to die if he doesn't have any good protection with him, so I'll be like a good person to like protect, you know? And we're also going to need to like hunt animals for food while we're on our journey, so I can do that as well. And she tries her best to fake it and like pretend that she doesn't, but obviously she has her own reasons for going up and asking the stone a question as well. So she obviously wants to ask it like, you know, why was my father so abusive to me, you know? It's really sad to think about, but like in all reality, some people are just freaking trash, you know? And those people like deserve no sympathy at all whatsoever. In my opinion, I know that's like a wild thing to be saying, but because of those people, because of abusive people like Deidra's father in this instance, Deidra feels like she did something wrong, you know? Like, her father wouldn't possibly abuse her for no reason, so she must have done something that, like, wasn't okay with him, you know? Even though, in all reality, she probably didn't do anything bad. It was just her father being a bad person, but she feels like she did something wrong, so she wants to ask the stone, like, what did I do wrong, and, like, how can I make up for it, you know? Even though, in all reality, like, there is nothing that she did because, like, it isn't her fault. It's her father's fault, but that's how she feels, you know? Like, she's insecure about it, so that's what she wants to go ask the stone about. And yeah, but Deidra is actually like such a funny character. A lot of the other characters like don't really like her at first. Like, honestly, she and Pietari are sort of butting heads at the beginning of the story because Pietari obviously wants to lead the mission because he's the one that like started the mission and like got it up and running. And as I mentioned earlier, since he is like the oldest of his 4 siblings, he does have like that leader mentality, you know? But Deidra also has like a leader mentality since she's been like working with the army, you know? She's become quite a good like leader, and she also kind of wants to lead the group, but they both have lots of disagreements about that and like fight over who should be like the leader of the group and all, but they do come to a good agreement in the end. And yeah, but over time all of the group members begin to sort of like accept Deidra, and they become really good friends by the end of the story. And yeah, but Deidra right here, as for her like actual character design, hers is probably like the most straightforward. She's basically just wearing like a basic military outfit, you know? So she has like this nice little jumpsuit on underneath. So it's like a basic dark blue jumpsuit, and she has on armor, but not like intense armor, like how when I tried to draw my OCs the first time around, my Arc 1 OCs, I gave like Destiny and Crow and Lexi and Carnelian all like full plated armor, but that's like an absolute pain to draw. So I just did like this half armor. So she has like a corset type thing over her chest, you know, to sort of protect her chest at like a basic level. I imagine it'd be made of like leather or some other material that's like rough and will like protect you decently, but also like flexible enough that you can still like move easily underneath it. And then as for her other pieces, she has obviously like metallic plates sort of strapped over her arms, and she has leather plates strapped on top of those as well for just like some extra protection. And she has some spikes underneath those, pretty cool. She also has some metallic plates strapped over her kneecaps, and she's wearing boots and pearl earrings and has her hair pulled up in a nice ponytail. She has really long and big and just like overall very voluminous hair, which I just love because that's like such a vibe. It's like wild and crazy, but it matches her personality so well. And I just feel like red hair like this gives off such vibes because, you know, she is 100% like the fiery redhead of the group. Think like Princess Fiona from Shrek. This is this girl right here. Or like Merida from Brave. Like, they are both her in a nutshell. But yeah, I tried to add like some subtle signs of her previous abuse, you know. Like, I give her a black eye on her right eye, and underneath like the right corner of her lip, there is like a tiny bit of blood sort of dried there from like a crack right there in her lip. Her lip might have been bleeding at some point, you know. But I don't know if I did it like too dark or too light, you know, because like when you're trying to make subtle details like this that like you want people to like notice sort of, but not like scream out at them, you know, it's hard to tell like the perfect balance between like subtle and like not subtle, you know. But anyways, this is Deidra. I think she looks really, really cute. But anyways, this video is already like 40 minutes long. Probably just because like I make lots of mistakes while I'm talking, so I have to be like constantly re-recording stuff to make sure that I have all the right audio. And I do take breaks sometimes because like I talk so loud that I just get like tired from talking. And it is sort of weird to just talk to yourself in your room with the door shut. So yeah. But anyways, I think I'm gonna pause right here and I'll do the next 3 OCs in the next video. But those were Pietari, Xavier, and Deidra, my main 3 characters. My other 3 characters are like also important, but like not nearly as important. These 3 are like the main ones, you know. Like the first 2 books of this series take place almost entirely in Pietari's point of view, but the 3rd book splits between Pietari, Xavier, and Deidra. So that's how you know these are like the 3 mains, because they each get their own like chance in the spotlight and like their own little point of view, you know. So Pietari's point of view like deals with like the main sort of plot of the story. Xavier's deals with like the werewolves, because obviously the werewolves are like very, very important. And then Deidra's point of view deals with like building up the army and like rebel forces, because the end goal at the end of the 3rd book is that they are going to like fight and like overthrow the people in the other kingdom. So yeah, these 3 are like the main 3, like the ultimate trio that sort of like help the story go along, you know. And yeah, but anyways, comment down below which character is your favorite. Honestly, my favorite character is probably Xavier, and 2nd place is probably Deidra, and then honestly 3rd place is probably Pietari. I don't know why. I love Pietari to death, but I think out of all of them, he's probably just the least cool and interesting. And yeah, if you'd like to draw art of these characters, then please feel free to do so. You can send it to me through Gmail or through a YouTube post. Just note that you cannot tag me on YouTube, so if you want me to see your YouTube post, you'll have to comment down below and be like, hey Sid, I made a post for you, and then I'll go check it out. And yeah, but anyways, thank you so much for your time and patience watching this video. It really means so much to me. If you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed my characters and their stories and their lore and all of that great stuff, then please make sure to stay tuned and stick around for more, because as I said earlier, I will have another video coming out very, very soon covering the other 3 OCs, Hazel, Gwaylin, and Vivian. And yeah, it always helps me out so much when you do, and I really, really appreciate it. It's also great for you because you will get instantly notified every single time that I post a new video, so you will never miss out on a single new upload. I post long form videos about every single week, and I post a new short form video every single day, so no matter what, I can almost guarantee you that you will always have something fun and interesting to watch, and you will never be bored. But yeah, if you want to take your support from me as an artist and a creative even further, then please go click the links in the description box down below. This will take you to some of my other social media accounts, like my Instagram account, Pinterest account, Unveiled account, and Artfed account, and all of that great stuff. You can also go click on my Instagram Grubs account, where I post some cool food pics every few weeks or so. And yeah, but anyways, I hope that y'all guys all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Always remember that I love you, and goodbye, eat more waffles, and peace out, Girl Scouts!